live for every market like this. Okay, the Itsekiris and Urhobos. It's happening live and direct.
Today I just watched a video that made me really disheartened. It was a video of the Urhobos attacking the Itsekiris, as can be seen from that video. Every year when there's a coronation anniversary, this thing tends to happen, and it happens around the Agbasa region. And I first witnessed this thing when I was in my youth, maybe around 12-15. That was in 1989. In 1989, the Ogiame Atuashe II had been crowned in 1987. And in 1988 or 1989, a regatta was done. It was the first of its kind, where they used these flotillas, and they used trailers and then make them up to look like boats. Very colorful, very interesting. It used to bring a lot of tourists into Warri, as at that time you see white people coming to watch boat regattas in Warri. And the first time I noticed this attack was, I think, 1988, 1989. My dad was then, there used to be this Itsekiri club. My dad was a member, so they created that thing. So when I noticed that thing, since that time, every year there has been this problem. And it has happened again. Recently, the Urhobos, they had their own Agbasa festival where they went around parts of Warri, and the Itsekiris were told to calm down. And they even danced around the Okere markets. The Itsekiris didn't do anything, and I'm happy that some Itsekiris actually mediated for the Urhobos to pass. I do not understand why something like that was not done during this period. I think that we're approaching this whole thing in a wrong way. And I think this problem probably started from in the 1950s, when there was this discrepancy about the Olu of Warri and the Olu of Itsekiri. There was an interregnum in Itsekiri history where for 88 years there was no king, there was no Olu of Warri, because of an internal crisis. The founder of the Warri kingdom was Olu Giniwa in 1480 AD. He was a prince from Benin Kingdom, and in the year 1840. A period of crisis, 1848 to 1851. There was a period of crisis after the demise of Olu Akengbowa, and the succession crisis that followed, which led to all the princes and princesses leaving Ode Itsekiri for their safety. There was now a political interregnum, 1851 to 1936. This period was characterized by the absence of an Olu after the death of Olu Dom Eyelu San, Jao Akengbowa. There was a dynastic crisis following the death of all the potential successors, which was followed by a period of political interregnum. His son, Prince Orishemone, left Ode Itsekiri during the period of the crisis to form the Usele community. The restoration of the Oluship began in February 1936. Giniwa II, 1936 to 1949, was installed as the Olu of Warri. Now, it was in this 1936 to 1949, the people, the Urhobos, and the people then, the whole of that whole province was called the Warri province. So a lot of people were afraid that the Warri was overshadowing the cities, and then they protested to the British people as at that time about the name, not knowing that the name right from time even from the Portuguese merchants, had always been the Olu of Warri. But because of fear, they now changed it temporarily to the Olu of Itsekiri, which was between that 1936 to 1949. But the Itsekiri said that no, that was not the correct title. The correct title is the Olu of Warri, because a king is a king over a place, a domain, and not over a tribe. Just like the Oba of Benin, the Obi of Agbo, the Oba of Lagos, that was what the argument was. And then that thing was ratified in the General House of Assembly in the 1950s. And it wasn't Awolowo that did it. It was even Nnamdi Azikiwe that asked that that thing be ratified, and then the Awolowo and the House of Assembly, the National House of Assembly, I think that was in 1950s, that said that it should be reverted back to the original title of the Olu of Warri. And that has been the discrepancy of this Olu of Itsekiri title and Olu of Warri. For 88 years, many people didn't understand, or they just wanted to capitalize on that interregnum to say there was nothing called Olu of Warri. There has always been the title of Olu of Warri. And for 88 years, these people didn't understand. So I think that is where the problem started from. So you can imagine 88 years, that's almost like 3 generations, because a generation is 20 to 25 years. So 3 generations didn't know anything about an Olu of Warri. They were ruled by Itsekiri governors, and some treaties were passed on during that period. So I think that it's a loss of history. History needs to be properly taught. But I don't want to go into history. I want to go into something more important. The interrelationships between the Itsekiris, Urhobos, and the Ijos. These tribes are so intertwined through marriage. And it's so sad that in this time and age, when we're supposed to use the internet to be able to bridge unity amongst ourselves, we're using it to cause divisiveness. Many of the youths, unfortunately, that are championing this and beating these drums of war were quite young in the 1999 crisis. I was in my teens or my early 20s, and I saw what happened. In the 1999 crisis, 1997-99 crisis, it should not have happened. It was something very political that happened. And before then, Warri used to be a thriving place. It's not as if Warri had a lot of nice structures and anything like that. It was the people. People would come from Lagos, people would come from Port Harcourt, people would come because the people had this camaraderie, this kind of spirit where you want to come to Warri, a Warri people, they can be in this place, just put table and chair. Party don't start. Very interesting place, very interesting people. There was this unity till that thing now happened, and it's all because of greed, politics. I do not understand. But since that time, Warri started dwindling. I was in my 3rd year at the University of Nigeria studying medicine then, when this thing started. The thing started like from my 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, but in my 3rd year, it was very, very, I think that should be 1999. It was really acute. And I saw how businesses were destroyed. My dad was a medical doctor. He used to have this retainership with some companies. And because of that incident that happened, I had to drop out of medical school because the funds were not coming as at that time. It was just one of the things that happened to me. This period of the crisis, a lot of us had to jazz up. People had done jazz for cutlass, acid, and all that stuff, and that's what gave birth to a ring, which I'm going to talk about later on. Something that happened. Anyways, I witnessed how Warri went from something that was a joyful city into a very chaotic city. The place that was thriving and booming, everything just went down. And Warri is still struggling to get back to its feet. The Ijos, the Itsekiris, the Urhobos, they are a well-knit family. It will surprise you to note that the 5 royal families that make up the Itsekiri kingdom, because there are 5 royal families, they call them the Gogomaru. The mother of that Gogomaru, her name was called Emaye. She is partly Ijo.
Emaye was the daughter of an Ijo woman married to an Itsekiri man, Igaragbemi, who was at that time the Iyashere of Warri Kingdom. Olu Erejowa the 15th Olu of Warri, between the years 1760 to 1795, married Emaye, who bore him 2 daughters, Uwale and Iye. On the death of Erejowa I, his son and successor, Olu Akengbuwa, inherited Emaye and had 2 sons and a daughter, Omateye male, Ejo male, and Ejumugu a female. Emaye thus had 5 children from the 2 marriages. The descendants of the 5 children are compendiously known as Ugogomaru, or the house of Emaye, within the royal family. Iye had only 1 child called Shinomi. This is corroborated by Professor Obaro Ikime's in his book, Merchant Prince of the Niger Delta, and this was culled from the Vanguard newspaper.
It just goes to show that the Ijos and the Itsekiris have this bond. We're not even going to let's not even go into what happened, how Ginuwa the first came and was carried by the Ijos before he now left Amatu to Odo Itsekiri, where the the Yoruba people in that place welcomed him, and that's how the Itsekiris and the Warri Kingdom started. So the Ijos and Itsekiris are really interlinked. Then the Urhobos now. You see that Okumagba estate there? Some of the Okumagbas got married to Itsekiris. So you can see that the Urhobos, the Ijos, the Itsekiris, they're a family. All this thing that is happening in Warri is lack of understanding. And we need to have a peaceful solution to this problem. We should not be doing things the way they used to be before. I'm very happy with Ogiame Atuwashe III, CFR, the Olu of Warri. He has extended his arms to go round friendship, even going as far as the Zulu Kingdom. Because you see, if we want Africa to be united, it starts from home. We cannot be fighting amongst ourselves and say we want a united Africa. This thing that is happening is not supposed to be. We put the Olu of Warri banner and some people say that no, you shouldn't be here, this is Urhobo territory. That is petty. Then the Agbasas will come and say, the Itsekiris will say, the last time as I said, the Itsekiris allowed the Agbasas to pass. That is what it's supposed to be like. We should promote each other's culture. We should not be doing all these things that are happening. It doesn't make sense. We are all related. I did a genealogy. My dad, may his soul rest in peace, did a genealogy where, if you notice, the people that make up Ugbolodo, most of them came from Ile-Ife. And my own father, his own mother is from the royal family. And just like most of the families that make up Ugbolodo have traced their lineage to the Ile-Ife. So my own father was able to trace our lineage to the Ile-Ife, and knowing fully well that my own lineage is also from Ile-Ife, where like the people that were reigning before Oduduwa came were called the Obalufe. So my dad was able to do that. So you can see now that the Itsekiris and the Benis, they met at a point and created a kingdom. That is why people who talk about this present Olu of Warri do not understand what is happening. It's something very spiritual. This present Olu of Warri, he's the 21st Olu of Warri, and he was coronated in the year 2021. And on the August 21st, for those who understand numerology, who understand spirituality, understand that a triangle was formed there between the Itsekiris, Urhobos, the Edos, which gave birth to the. So there's something very mystical there. That's why this Olu of Warri is a great king, and he's going to succeed. So I pray that the Itsekiris unite, because there is a lot to be gained. My own grandfather from my maternal side, because both my parents are Itsekiri. Both my parents are Itsekiri, as well as I am. But from my mother's side, I want to talk about Katu community now. The Katu community, which my grandfather, the late Chief Ifejuku, he was the Miemia of Katu. He was also a chief in the Olu of Warri's palace. That community is made up of Ijos and Itsekiris. And the land there is by virtue of marriage. Now, I do not understand why the Ijos and Itsekiris will be quarreling over their father's land or their mother's land. It makes no sense. We need to come together as one. We need to come together as one. Even if tracing to my own mother's side, her own mother came from Olobu in Benin City. So like and also from Ugbolokposo. People understand what is happening with Olobu in Benin City here, with the Edos. But there's a rich history. And also what happened with Ugbolokposo at Uye community. There's a rich history between the Urhobos, the Itsekiris and the Ijos. And if we come together as one, we can build something wonderful. If we want a united Africa, it has to start from home. We should stop all these wranglings. It doesn't make sense. We're all united. This land, we met it, and we're going to leave it for our children and for our children's children. We're not carrying it anywhere. It's best we make the best use out of it. This is our relationship. We need to forge ahead and know that we're brothers and sisters. We should stop all this wrangling. We should stop all this wrangling. I'm able to see things for what they are. And I'm begging and I'm urging us, we should stop this nonsense. Let us learn to be our brother's keeper. Let us learn to live in peace. If you understand all those people that are talking about that swampy region and laughing at the Itsekiris, if you see, because I'm someone that is very spiritual, if you understand what is happening in that place, in the spiritual kingdom, that place is a beautiful place. Warri is a beautiful place, but there are just some kind of things that are happening, and God is going to take control. A principality is going to be put in that place that is going to change the place. Governor Warri, he's trying his best, and I pray for his success. We need to come together as one. Warri is a beautiful place. You people should not spoil it with all these wranglings. We need to come together as one and build the place. May God bless that place. May God bless the kingdom of Warri. May God bless Warri, the inhabitants in Warri. God bless Delta State. God bless Nigeria. God bless Africa. If we want Africa to be united, it starts from home. It starts from home. I've been finding a way to articulate my point, just as this guy did, and maybe God wanted me to delay till this incident happened in Warri, so that I'm able to relate it with what this man here is now talking about. Charity begins at home. We need to stop all this nonsense and come together as one.
If you have a trace of black in your DNA, I respectfully ask you to please watch this video and watch it all the way to the end. But if you are not black, I respectfully ask you to scroll, because this is a family meeting. This video is coming from a very sad place, but it's coming from a place of love. As a reminder, we didn't lose land when they colonized us. We lost each other. Now we carry flags instead of family, borders instead of brotherhood, tribe instead of truth. And while we scream Africa unite, we stab each other with dialects, clans, and skin tone. We didn't need the slave ships to separate us. We are doing it fine, even better than the slave masters. And to my brothers and sisters, the Black Americans, some of you say I ain't African. You say it with your full chest. And that's because your history was wiped clean and replaced with shame. But let me ask you something. If you're not African, what are you? You're not white, you're not brown, you're not Asian, you're not native. Where do you belong? You wear kente on your graduation day, but you deny the blood that made you. You vibe to Afrobeats, but would never claim your African roots. You scream Wakanda forever, but turn your back on Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Namibia, Kenya, South Africa, and the rest of the African continent. They told you Africa is poor, dirty, and uncivilized, so you wear Gucci, forgetting that the gold was stolen from your ancestors. You straighten your hair, but your DNA cuts back to the motherland. And you, who still agree that you're black, you've been to 5 countries, but you've never stepped a foot on your motherland, the land that named you. In case you didn't know, I'll tell you, we are all scattered bones from the same skeleton, but the head despises the feet, the hand won't speak to the mouth, and the spine refuses to stand upright because it doesn't want to elevate the head. Meanwhile, back in Africa, we're killing each other over tribe. We're hiring only from our own region. We're marrying only our ethnic kind. We're voting not for competence, but for cousin, for tribe, for religion. We're the only race whose diversity became a weapon not fashioned against our oppressors, but against ourselves. We're the only people who can't unite because we are so busy trying to out-purify each other. You're Igbo, you're Yoruba, you're Akan, you're Zulu, you're Ewe, you're Fulani, you're Tutsi, you're Ashanti. But guess what? To the rest of the world, we're black. Like it or not. When a police officer shoots you, he doesn't ask for your tribal card. When the visa officer denies you, he doesn't care where your ancestors come from. So why do we keep dividing the land that our ancestors bled to preserve and protect? Let me be clear. Your tribe is your heritage, but not your identity. Africa is your identity. Blackness is your banner. We didn't ask to be scattered, but we must choose to be reunited. We must build a future where a black boy in Detroit sees a brother in Durban. A sister in Nairobi cries when a black girl dies in Louisiana. A man in Accra feels in his bones when a brother in Brazil can't breathe. Because our pain is global, our healing must be as well. We use the chainsaw, but the only thing we keep cutting is ourselves, not the chains that holds us down. So this is a call, not to war, but to wisdom. To stop asking where you're from and start asking, where are we going? To stop fighting over tribes and start building a tribe of tribes. To stop denying the blood that raised you and start embracing it with every breath. Because if we don't unite, we'll stay divided and continue to be prey to our predator. But together we are a force the world has never seen before. And no tribe, no border, no oppressor, no flag can stop what's rising in the soul of a black man, a black woman, that black girl, and that black boy. Africa is not divided. She's just waking up. And when her children return, mind, soul, and strength, the world will finally remember who we truly are. Thank you very much for coming this far. Please do us a favor. Do it, share, and forward this video to every single black person on your contact. This is Altitude Within.